Did you know it's currently 8 weeks until May bank holiday? And let's be honest, that is when the summer socialising really ramps up. 8 weeks is not a long time. So if you're serious about walking into the summer social season looking and feeling your absolute best, then this video is for you. Because I'm going to be breaking down my simple yet effective way to build your meals so that you can hit your calories and protein with ease. And most importantly, without spending hours in the kitchen. Because I know that when you're working full time, running a household and holding down a social life, the last thing you want to be doing is spending the hours that you have to actually have some downtime slaving away in the kitchen. And the clients that I work with are exactly the same. If you're new here, my name is Georgia. I'm a women's online health and fitness coach, and I work with high-performing corporate women who are ready to step into their ultimate confidence across all areas of their lives, all whilst dropping at least 10 kilos of body fat, toning up and building a lifestyle that actually fits around them. So I suppose you could say working with people who are extremely busy is literally what I do day in, day out, which is the exact reason why I'm sitting here recording this video now, so that you don't go into the next 8 weeks wasting time and results, and ultimately you can walk into that summer social season feeling your absolute best without having to sacrifice your social life or bend over backwards to do so. So with that being said, let's get into the video with tip number 1. First thing that I want you to do is try and think about your food once and once only. I often find with the busy women that I work with, decision fatigue can be a massive, massive thing, because in your work from day to day, you're making so many decisions and often the buck stops with you. So the last thing you want to be doing is thinking about what meal you're cooking once you've got back from a 10-hour plus working day. So I want you to sit down once in the week. That might be on a Friday, a Saturday, a Sunday, even a Monday, and I want you to write out your menu for the week. So basically this is going to be what you're having for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and any snacks and extra bits and bobs throughout the week. This is going to make your food shop way easier, way more concise, and you're not going to be buying those random extra bits that ultimately you end up snacking on, which push you over your calories from day to day. Now tip 2 goes hand in hand with this, because when you're writing a menu, I want you to create 1 to 2 breakfast staples. So it might seem overwhelming to write down all of your meals for 1 week, but actually if you stick to tip number 2, it's going to be so much easier. So for me, to give you an example, that's either eggs and avocado on toast or it's a bowl of protein oats. Which brings me really nicely onto tip number 3, which is also to create 1 to 2 snack staples. So I personally have a yogurt bowl most days for my snack, and what I'll do is I'll mix up the toppings. So I might change the fruit, I might have some seeds one day and some granola the other day, or I might have either honey or peanut butter. So tips 2 and 3 really go hand in hand with that first tip to make your menu planning 10 times easier. A lot of the time people think we need new recipe ideas and more creativity when it comes to food in order to stay on track, but in reality, if it ain't broke, we don't need to fix it. It's one of the sayings that I always come back to. If you enjoy a meal and you want to eat it, then we don't need to change it. Now obviously we can change these staples from week to week, and that is absolutely fine, and that's what helps to give you variety. But when you sit down and you do that menu plan, using these staple ideas for things like your breakfast and also your snacks are going to take a lot of thinking out of the process. Now I know that we've talked about breakfast, we've talked about snacks, but what about your lunch and also your dinner? This brings me on to tip number 4. Now for your lunches and dinners, I want you to select your protein first. So to give you some examples, this might be tuna, prawns, chicken, beef, or eggs. Obviously that's not a complete list, but just to give you some easy to work with examples. So once you've picked your protein, I want you to build your meal around that. So for example, if I take my lunches this week, I've got chili con carne. So I looked at my protein first of all. I thought, right, this week I want to cook something with beef mince. It's super easy to work with and super versatile. I can make a chili con carne with that. The same goes with dinners. If I take a couple of examples from my week this week, I wanted to use some tuna one night, so I'm doing some tuna jacket potatoes. Another night I wanted to do chicken, so we're having a red Thai curry. And at another point this week I'm also using salmon, so I'm doing salmon, rice and veggies. Super simple and not much thinking required. Now you're probably thinking, but how do I build these meals once I've got my protein source? And that's what I want to cover in tip number 5. Once you've picked your protein, I want you to add 150 to 200 grams of micronutrients. Your micronutrients are your fruits and your veggies or salad. The reason why I say 150 to 200 grams is because it's going to help with 2 things. Number 1, it's going to increase your fiber, and number 2, it's going to increase the overall volume of your meal, which in turn is going to help you feel fuller for longer and also visually give you a bigger portion of food, basically telling your brain that you're going to be full and satisfied from this meal. So it's a win-win in my eyes. Plus your micronutrients have so many benefits because of all the vitamins and minerals that they contain. So now we've got basically a plate of protein and veg. So what comes next? Tip number 6, we want to think about the carb source that we're going to be having with our meals, and also any sauces and extras that we might want to add. So if we take my salmon, rice and veg, the protein was the salmon, The veggies, I'm going to have broccoli, rice is my carbs, and then I always add sriracha on top for some extra flavour. So you can see how I've worked through that meal, starting with the protein, adding in the macros, then moving into carbs and any accessories or your sauces. Now if we take the chicken red Thai curry that I'm going to make, chicken is the protein, I'm going to add onions, broccoli and peppers to that. Then I've got my rice as my carbs, and obviously the red Thai curry sauce is going to be the accompaniment for that ties it all together. Using these building blocks makes putting together your meals a simple 3-step process, which takes out so much thinking, and it means that you're not going to spend ages scrolling on social media looking for new and exciting recipe ideas. Now that we've built our weekly menu, tip number 7 is where we're going to put it all together into a shopping list. As I mentioned at the beginning, when I started talking about writing this weekly menu, this is going to save you so much time when it comes to your food shopping, whether you do it in store or online. It means that you're not faffing around, looking at what's available and trying to piece together meal ideas or buy things that you think will go together in the supermarket, and then ultimately you get home and you don't actually have much to work with, which is why quite often we default to things like takeaways or buying food on the go during the week. So you're going to use your menu, work meal by meal, and write down all the ingredients that you need to add to your shopping list for that week. And that is basically all the thinking done when it comes to your meals for the entire week. But my last 2 tips are going to save you so much more time when it comes to actually staying on track with your weight loss, because planning your meals is one thing, but sticking to your calorie deficit and hitting your macros is another thing. And that brings me on to tip number 8, which is where you're going to track your food ahead of time. I have some clients that do this for the entire week and some that do it a day at a time or half a week at a time. This is completely dependent on you and what works for your lifestyle. I personally like to do all of my tracking in one go because, again, it means that I do not have to think through the week and I just need to go in and make little adjustments if anything changes from day to day, which is completely normal. Plus, the other benefit to tracking, if you do want to squeeze in anything extra or make any changes to your tracking, you can actually step back and look at how you can make room for that by tweaking your other meals. So for example, if you wanted to enjoy dessert after dinner one day, instead of getting to the end of that day, tracking everything and realizing I'm over my calories, you have the data in front of you. You can pull back some things from maybe your breakfast and your lunch to make room for that dessert after dinner, completely guilt-free, which is the exact way that I show my clients how to manage their food so that they can make things work around them and create a balance within their diet. And my last tip to make sure that you are staying on track over the next 8 weeks in a way that is as easy and effortless as possible is to prep ingredients in advance. Now, I know a lot of coaches will tell you to prep your meals. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, and it's what I personally do. But I know for a lot of people, they don't necessarily have time to prep their breakfast, lunch, dinner for every single day, and that's completely fine. So something that saves a lot of my clients so much time is prepping individual ingredients. So for example, chopping your veggies in advance and cooking any protein sources ahead of time. This gives you what I like to call a fitness pick a mix that you can reach in and piece together if you're tight on time and you need to put something together on the fly. And if you follow these 8 tips, I can almost guarantee your nutrition is going to feel so much easier over the next 8 weeks as we head towards the summer social season, so that you can drop 10 kilos and feel ultra confident when it comes to those pub garden trips in just a couple of months' time. If you want more information on how I work with my ultra busy, high performing clients to get them standout results without having to spend hours in the kitchen, the link to my one-to-one coaching applications is going to be down below. If you're a good fit, then I'll pop you a message and we can talk a little bit more about your goals and I can run you through exactly how I work. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one.